This week's review is of a gun that has been out for quite some time, but there are a couple of points that make this really very different. Hello and welcome to AAR and Air. This week's review is the BSA Defiant. Believe it or not, even though I've had loads of dealings with most of the BSA Gammo range, I haven't reviewed this one before, even though I've tried to get hold of one in the past. Now I hear there have been quite a few reviews of the Defiant in the past, but I haven't seen them or gone searching for any. I wanted to form my own opinion on this Vector Air adapted version. I said at the start, this particular version has a couple of significant points to it. Let's get these out there to start with. The first is to aid maximum flexibility and interchangeability. This has had an Eagle Vision rail fitted. The top has a full 200mm Picatinny rail adapter fitted, which does away with the 13mm BSA dovetail rail. This is metal, unlike the plastic versions fitted to the Virox, and has quality oozing from it. On the underside, it has a Picatinny rail and stud fitting for bipod or the like, still allowing a sling to be fitted if preferred. These 2 points make quite a difference. However, the most significant change is the price. The retail price on these was £1,049, but Vector have now gained a limited supply with the upgrades fitted and included for £495. With all these changes, I thought a review was in order. This is the all-weather black rubberized finish and is 780mm or around 30 3/4 inches long, including the fitted shroud and silencer, and it tips the scales at 4.3 kilograms or £9 10 ounce, which is a little on the heavier side. And if this was a full-length rifle, then I'd be concerned. But in a short bullpup, this weight is kept very close to the body and the balance is really quite good. And you don't notice that weight when it's shouldered. From the front then, the first thing is the silenced and shrouded barrel, which is typical BSA and very reminiscent of the R10s, and indeed, just like the R10s, this can be unscrewed and reveals a 1/2-inch UNF thread on the end of the 470mm or 18.5-inch BSA cold hammer forged barrel. At this point, your choice of silencing is pretty much endless. With the standard setup, it is quiet enough to not be too much of a disturbance to the neighbours, but with an aftermarket silencer, it is really quiet, and I would suggest this option if you're out pest controlling. As I've said so many times, I do like choices. Below this is the air cylinder, which is topped off with a standard BSA gauge, which, whilst a little on the smaller side, is only an issue to old gits like me with less than perfect eyesight. It is, however, colour-coded to make the whole thing simpler. The Defiant, like most BSAs, has a max fill pressure of 232 bar. This pressure, mated up with the slim air cylinder behind that twist filler cover, should be good for around 110 shots in this 177 caliber and 120 shots in the 22 caliber version, because this has a regulator on board. These shot counts would equate to an awful lot of rabbits or some healthy trigger time on the range. Moving back, we come to that top rail, which is ordinarily a 13mm dovetail, as we've already said, but the supplied Eagle Vision rail then your options suddenly increase. On the right hand side is the side lever cocking arm with biathlon style action. Although this Defiant is ambidextrous, the side lever isn't interchangeable. But I've said so many times, the side lever position doesn't seem to be driven by right or left-handed. More personal preference at the end of the day. Moving back further, we come to a nice soft touch cheek rest, which incorporates the 10 round BSA R10 magazine. I've used these on so many occasions and never had an issue with them. They are easy to load up and load into the gun. And again, no issues. I have used loads of them. The safety is a push forward for fire and pull back for safe. Simple, sure, and effective. It is a little set back, but this is a bullpup, and as such, there are always going to be compromises to trade off for the short compactness of this type of rifle. The butt pad is rubberized and adjustable to give you some flexibility on comfort and eye relief. The main stock, which I believe is Manelli, is also a black rubberized finish, and I do like this, to be fair. It is very reminiscent of my Viroc HW110, and I really like that too. There is stippling to the grip and forestock, which is really just enough. There are studs front and rear, with the front taken up on that add-on rail. The trigger is a two-stage item and is really quite predictable in use. So the overall opinion at first look is, I quite like this. Time to check the power output. So let's hit the chronograph, shall we? Using the BSA Gold Stars, which are 8.64 grain, it saw 757 feet per second, which is 11 foot-pounds dead, or 14.91 joules. Time to try some heavier pellets. Using the 10.49 grain Black Stars, it saw 702 feet per second, which is 11.48 foot-pounds, or 15.57 joules. So nothing wrong there. The next part, I'm really interested to see the results, the target work. Now, I've added a compact Veyron scope because it needs something compact like the gun itself, and it is a little bit lighter to balance the overall weight. I've put it on a 4-16 by 44. I think at 40 meters it should be fine. So, here goes. The BSA Defiant. I've been trying to get hold of one of these for quite some time, not had much joy. Finally got hold of one, basically through Vector Air, because they are buying pretty much a whole host of these ones up and they are adapting them with different rails. Instead of using the 13mm BSA, you've actually got an Eagle Vision, that sounds awful, doesn't it? An Eagle Vision Picatinny rail on the top, which is a huge thing. There's loads and loads of space on it, but the original was as well on the Defiant. So you've got choices. I love choices. The gun itself feels so Viroc with its rubberized finish. Now, I'm sure what that is. It's a Manelli stock, and then they either spray or coat it, but it feels fabulous. It really does feel quality. It's a nice gun, it's nice balance. It is a little heavy if you were carrying it around all day, but balance it off with a lighter scope, shouldn't really have too many issues. I put a Veyron on top simply because I think they're so compact and they're really, really good. It is side lever. The side lever feels really nice. No doubt the Puritans out there will want to tweak it and just do little bits to it. That's absolutely fine, but to be honest, to me, to use it, it's great. The trigger feels really nice. I must admit, the trigger I really, really like is the trigger on my R10, which is more of a match trigger with the pole, and I just love the adjustments that's on that. This one is still fully adjustable, but it's not as good a trigger. But hey, we're talking less than £500 for this, don't forget. I think it's absolutely outstanding value for money. And the more I use this, the more I just want to keep using it. I mean, today is a really windy day. It's too windy really for doing this, but I just want to shoot it. So I'm going to film it. If I'm shooting, I may as well be filming it. Yeah, it's real breezy. Now the chances are on one of the mics, you'll be able to pick it up because it's got no dead cat on it. This has got a dead cat. Well, the class is a dead mouse, but it's got a dead cat on which takes the wind away. The other one doesn't. It is really blustery and windy today. It's actually a bit cool with it as well. Anyway, that said, let's crack on because it'll only rain in the next 2 minutes. This is England after all. So let's give it a go, shall we? Down at 40 metres. The wind is affecting it, definitely. And one of the biggest ways it's affecting it is it's blowing me at this end. The wind is blowing me all over the place. That's better. If the wind stops, it's really pleasurable. Now, considering the wind and the conditions, I don't think that's bad at all. The gun feels really nice and smooth. It's adjustable if you can't get the right height mounts or whatever. That's just perfect for me, to be honest. But then again, I pick most of them up and I shoot what I brung. It's as simple as that. I do like it. It's a shame, really, I didn't get to try this before because it is something I really like. You're not going to get huge shot counts because you haven't got a carbon bottle on the end there. It's a cylinder, but you're going to get more than enough. It is a little on the weighty side, but that just adds stability, certainly when you're shooting like this. And if you were shooting, even taking it out, doing pest control, if you can get into a position with a bit of a rest, it wouldn't be an issue either. The only thing to point out is wind again. Is this at this price bracket? There are so many imports coming in from various parts of the world, various continents, that are the same money or more, and you're getting a BSA, regulated, made in the UK. Now that may not mean a lot to some of you. It does mean a fair bit to me, and it's nice that we can fly the flag. Now that is going out at less than half price it used to be. That's a no-brainer. And I really think this one is going to struggle to find its way back. I like it, and I like it a lot. Back to the studio. I can't say I'm too surprised at those results. It is a cold hammer-forged barrel after all. And we're shooting from a rest, which adds stability using that little bit extra weight to it. It feels really comfortable in use. Not only is this thing growing on me, but it has to be said at this price, it's likely to stay with me because it's in competition, direct competition, with, shall we say, more budget designed and oriented guns. But this is British made, regulated, the super R10 magazine with it, an adjustable trigger, which is really, really nice to use. It's got those added Picatinny rails and superb quality stock. This is really about the highest quality in this price bracket, and I can't see anyone complaining. Now, you know I love my R10, and this has such an R10 feel to it in many ways. I really like my Vulcan 3, but this is about a quarter of the price. I just wouldn't put this bullpup in this price bracket at all, but here it is. For now, You know, I've thoroughly enjoyed this and hopefully you have too. If so, please give us the old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and feel free to share and click the alarm notification bell. Please get on board with the AAR Green Air project. All the details can be found on the AAR On Air website. The link is here and in the drop-down box below. A big thank you, of course, to Vector Air for the loan of this Defiant. I believe they're in limited supply in this Defiant Plus kit. Well, they've just got even more limited because one of these is likely to be staying with me. The main thanks, as always, goes out to you guys for watching. Please stay safe and shoot safe, and hopefully I'll see you all next week. Bye for now. I really like the feel of this. Yeah.